asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Now I have to say, because the music's really loud and you have, the whatever the setting is, something audio for musicians on. For the video viewer, it's sometimes hard to hear your intro.
Okay.
But it sounded like you said the official Rick and Morty podcast at the end. That's not right, is it?
Well, yeah. Because we're coming to you live from Free Speech World,
Oh.
where we can say anything we want to say without fear of reprisal.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's true.
We can confidently say that this is Interdimensional RSS, the official Rick and Morty podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ask Adult Swim or
Yeah.
anybody officially affiliated with the show whether that's true or not.
Yeah. But it feels official.
Yeah.
And feelings are what matter. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even dare to call us official if the official Rick and Morty Instagram didn't follow us.
Right.
But because they do,
Right.
I mean, it just seems way more official.
Apropos, shout out to Rick and Morty podcast over on Instagram, who they are one of 125 people that the official Rick and Morty account follows.
That's right. And if you want to follow that Instagram as well, you can head over to Instagram at Rick and Morty Podcast. You can also follow us on X. I think there's an account still there. Is there? There is? Okay. Don't expect a lot of content, but you can follow us at Rick and Morty Pod. Facebook, facebook.com/Rick and Morty Podcast, another place you can find us. Or send us emails. We love emails with your questions. rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. rickandmortypod.bsky.social also exists.
It's still there.
It exists. A huge part of the conversation that we're going to be having today centers around the website Reddit, just the best the internet has to offer. You can follow along with the Rick and Morty conversation at rickandmorty.reddit.com, or you can go to our subreddit, rickandmortypodcast.reddit.com. And then finally, we have a website, rickandmortypod.com. If you want video versions of the podcast, you can go to YouTube, youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm, where you'll find this show as well as all of our other Apathetic Enthusiasm podcasts. And then Patreon, patreon.com/apathetic enthusiasm, where you can support our shows monetarily. And we appreciate both of you that do that. So,
your $2 is really being well spent. I've saved it up over the last 12 months, and I bought a bottle of scotch. So thank you.
Dang it. Well, happy Sober October, Brandon, and welcome to everyone to Interdimensional RSS, coming to you with a very special post-season, off-season episode. But we had some fun pop up this week that we felt was worth talking about. In the way of a Reddit AMA, which we'll be talking about over in the main thing. But before we get to that, as we always do, we got to cover what's new, what's happening, what's hot.
Yeah.
And we do that in a segment we like to call Semi-Pertinent News.
Hot town, summer in the city, semi-pertinent news and looking so pretty. Summertime in the city. And sometimes fall is going into nighttime. Find the girl.
I like that you chose, now that it isn't summer, to sing Hot Town, Summer in the City. But yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
As we are wont to do on this podcast, there are a couple of shows that are also appearing on Adult Swim here in the fall season that we enjoy, we like, and as Rick and Morty fans, you may enjoy them too. The first one that is premiering its third season in just a few days, October 5th, Smiling Friends Season 3 is here. We have seen a few episodes of it. They showed a couple of them, I believe, at San Diego Comic-Con. And then we got a couple of sneak peeks at a couple more of these episodes. What are your thoughts so far? Are you excited about the return of the Smiling Friends?
Am I ever, Travis? I have not watched the screeners.
Wow. What an irresponsible reporter you are.
Yeah, I know. And here's why.
That's right.
Because I don't want to. I kind of don't want to watch the. For our audio listeners, Travis is showing a porcelain version of himself. Walking across.
The boss is very upset that you haven't watched the screeners yet, Brandon. Come on, Brandon. You'll love them.
I kind of don't want to watch the show without Dexter.
That's
I
fair.
want to watch it with him. I could watch the premiere again because we've seen that already.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it. I love that show. It's so chaotic and just I love it. I love it so much.
Chaotic is a very good way to describe Smiling Friends. There are times when it's hilarious and times where I'm like, I feel like I should be looking away. This is incredibly disturbing right now. There is an episode coming up this season with a returning favorite character that is just all around incredible. It is well-rounded. It has highs, it has lows, and it's just everything you want a Smiling Friends episode to be. So yeah, they are bringing all of the zaniness and crazy. Hello. Yeah, and so yeah, tune in October 5th for Smiling Friends Season 3, and then a couple weeks later, a show that has taken a complete 180 in the hearts and minds of at least one of the podcast hosts of Interdimensional RSS. Ha Ha You Clowns premieres October 19th. When I first saw a teaser for this, I didn't give it the time of day. I thought this is not something I'm going to be interested in. We sure as hell didn't, Travis. We were at Comic-Con, and in between Smiling Friends and Rick and Morty was the Ha Ha You Clowns panel. And look, we'll be the first to tell you, and I think we did when we talked about our Comic-Con adventure, that we were like, okay, well, we have to sit through this to get to Rick and Morty. Let's do it. And that first episode that we watched, like, that was pretty funny, actually. Then we watched it again at on the Night of the Green Comic-Con there down at Adult Swim's little green thing, and the Pirate Purdy, and we had already been like talking about it like over and over again, just like bringing up parts from that episode. And then we watched that episode, and we were sitting behind a couple, and people were like giving away Ha Ha You Clowns like sports glasses, and they're like, oh cool, yeah, they grabbed it. We didn't get one, and they're like, what is this? I don't know. Well, oh, they're gonna show an episode. And then they watched the episode, and we joked with the people in front, like, do you want these glasses? No, it's okay, you can have them. Like, yeah. No, I think we're good.
Yeah, thank you.
It's funny because at face value, especially if you just watch it, like, the animation is somewhat rough, very flat colors, very stylized looking, like, buff guys, like the all three of the sons are all like just these broad-shouldered like guys, and you don't expect it to have the level of sincerity and heart that it has. I do think that sitting in the panel with Joe Kappa, creator of the show, and also voice actor for many of the main characters, hearing his perspective, hearing what he thought like about the show and about the characters, warmed me a lot to it. But then it was when we started quoting the show to each other and like little moments, little just like just the smallest lines that just stick in your brain, and you can revisit over and over again. Um, the show really grew on me.
Yeah.
If you want a taste of Ha Ha You Clowns, Joe Kappa did a ton of shorts. These have started out as Adult Swim shorts. Those are still all available on YouTube, so you can go kind of get an idea of what the show is from those shorts. But these are like 11.5 minute, almost like features. Like, I mean, 11.5 minutes is a full episode in Adult Swim language, you know? So, yeah, I watched the first three. One of these episodes, for me, like, I fell in love with the episode. I laughed harder than I've laughed at a lot of things recently. And then I like got emotional in the same episode and was like, wow, like really like felt sad for characters and things like that. And so yeah, I don't know.
I'm laughing at certain scenes in that episode. I'm not laughing at you laughing at that episode, because that episode does have really the thing about Ha Ha You Clowns from the episodes that we've seen. It's and Kappa talked about this. He doesn't like traditional adult animation. He's not like trying to be like crazy Adult Swim, like a Frisky Dingo or Aqua Teen Hunger Force or things like that. He's like his humor is just very earnest.
Yes, yes,
Like,
yes.
yeah, there's animation wise, there's some funny stuff that you see, but everything that these characters are saying is earnest. It's on the nose. It's honest, and the and you're like, well, that doesn't sound very funny at all, but it ends up being so funny because like these characters are like, they all really love each other. It's very
Yeah.
wholesome.
It is very wholesome. Yes.
And it's so wholesome that someone's like, yeah, that's funny. That's funny that
Yeah.
they said that.
Yeah.
Because it's just very on the nose. You gotta bet your bottom dollar.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry.
Dad.
Also,
no,
they
boy.
talk ridiculously, but if that hasn't sold you enough, like, I don't know, go watch some clips. Check out. Do it for me as a favor to me.
Please.
Tune in October 19th. Watch the entire season, all season long, of Ha Ha You Clowns. The nice thing about both Smiling Friends and Ha Ha You Clowns is if you have an HBO Max subscription, they will be out the following day on that platform as well. So if you don't have, Cartoon Network access or Adult Swim access, you can still check these out if you have HBO Max. So go watch it. Go watch all of it as it comes out, because I want them to make more. Ha Ha You Clowns.
I really do. It is so good. And that's what this podcast is turning into. It's the Ha Ha You Clowns podcast.
Yeah, spinoff? I don't know. I'm
Let's-
already producing like 28 other things. Like, let's just keep going. Swift
The
boys.
Smiling Friends Ha Ha You Clowns podcast.
Yeah, we don't have time for that. We're too busy being the official Rick and Morty podcast. So when we come back, that's it for Semi-Pertinent News. When we come back, we are going to be diving into a really fun event that took place over on the Rick and Morty subreddit. So stick around, and we will be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. It is now time for a segment we like to call The Main Thing.
When you come down to the city in the winter time, you will find yourself upon a winter steed with the main thing coming to you live.
Fair enough. That is. I mean, it's pretty live. It's live to tape.
Why
It's live
did
to
you?
tape.
Why didn't you stop me from doing that? Why didn't you like at all like just be like, Brandon, just don't do this anymore?
I've been trying. Just fair listener, Unity. Let me level with you. I've been trying for years to get Brandon to pre-record some studio quality, edited, refined intros to our different segments. He won't do it. It's a place where we have creative differences, and that's what makes us an interesting team. We
Can't do it.
we support each other's passions. Welcome to the main thing, where we are not talking about a brand new episode, but we are talking about a pretty cool opportunity that has been in the works for quite a while. This took place on September 25th, 2005, where writers, executive producers Scott Martyr and Steve Levy sat down for about an hour. Is that accurate? Yeah.
Yeah, about an hour. Yep.
And in partnership with the Reddit mods, mostly Brandon, I think, but I think it was probably a team effort. They hosted an AMA for the uninitiated. That is an Ask Me Anything event over on the Rick and Morty subreddit, where they basically were taking questions from fans and doing their best to answer as many of them as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So Adult Swim hit us up last month. No, so it's October now. So back in like early August.
Yeah, it felt like right after the season ended, pretty much.
Yeah. And they came sent us an email and like, hey, would you guys be interested in doing an AMA on the subreddit? I'm like, yeah, of course. And they're like, well, we kind of want to do it closer to the release of Rick and Morty on Max and the DVDs being out. Like, cool, yeah, let's do it, and like let the season like kind of like sink in a little bit for the fandom. And I didn't know who it was going to be with. Like it was just kind of like, oh, if you're interested, like, of course we're interested. And then getting closer to it is like, yeah, we'll try to get to Steve Levy and Scott Martyr. Like, yeah, heck yeah. And then just kind of work from there. And so this was my first AMA, like coordinating an AMA.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did well, but like, like the key was like I will do most of the copy. We will host you, and you can come on and co-host Adult Swim with the official account, and then they'll do their thing. We'll post the pictures of like, here's proof that they're doing the AMA, and just really trying to make sure that it went as smoothly as it could on the backside, and then like do a little bit of promotion ahead of time. Be like, hey, check this out on next week. We're gonna do this, and then Tuesday rolls around. In 2 days we're gonna do this. So that's all I did really was just try to have the coordination of the post and getting things going. And I was on my way to New Mexico on Thursday when the AMA was actually going on. So I my dad was driving the truck and I took Dramamine. And so right around the time the AMA started, I'm like, okay, here we go. Truck.
For new listeners, Brandon gets severely motion sick doing just about anything.
40 more
40 more stops.
Doing this podcast, I need Dramamine generally. Just watching Travis move back and forth.
Yeah, the transitions between scenes usually makes him a little woozy. So yeah, he has to medicate. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Before we get into some of the actual questions from the AMA, just how our like work on this podcast has infused into other elements of Rick and Morty. I can't even remember now how you got involved with the subreddit in sort of like an official capacity, to where you became one of the moderators and started doing like the official, pre-show stuff and then like show discussion. Like, how did that all come about? When was that?
Yeah, that started in the middle of season 3.
Okay.
In our somebody we had on the show before, Ebit, we was hit us up because not Dan Harmon was posting those cryptic kind of videos during season 3. I was like, oh, what is this, right? And we were starved for content, so we were latching onto anything. And so we were talking about this not Dan Harmon and the videos that they were putting out. And she reached out to us and was like, hey, just to let you know, that is not legit. And so that kind of started, and she was the main moderator on the
Yeah.
Rick subreddit, and so that's just kind of how it started going. And then she eventually turned into, you want to help with the post episode discussions and stuff like that. I'm like, of course, yeah. And then I automated it, so most of the work is just done. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, then kind of what we did was we had this podcast, and so when we was reaching out to Adult Swim, trying to get coordinate and stuff like that, was trying to be like, also I am one of the moderators of the subreddit, so we can use that opportunity to cross promote and do any of that. So that's
Yeah.
just kind of some of the background summarized.
He's got his fingers in a little bit of everything. That's the point of all of this, fair listener. Yeah, and now our emails have a lot of more official Rick and Morty promotion type stuff coming into them, because we're I say we, it is 100% you. I do almost nothing with the subreddit, but
You get
getting
on a lot of emails.
I am CC'd on a lot of emails. I am, for sure. That is true.
Great,
There are several times there are several times where I will see an email and then I will send you a message to make sure you saw the email. So I'm more of an assistant in that way, but yeah, lots of cool early looks at episodes and stuff that you somehow automate to get out to the masses, and I'm sure that the community appreciates it. But
yeah.
this particular event, this particular post, and we'll link it or provide something in the show notes, the YouTube description to the AMA. But yeah, basically fans list out questions, and then within the time allotted, Martyr and Levy will answer as many as possible. I gotta say, when I went out to the subreddit and took a look at this AMA, it's been a minute since I read an AMA, and I didn't realize how many functions and tools were baked into the site now to help facilitate that, and the fact that you can filter by answered questions, unanswered questions. There's all kinds of interesting stuff out there. But yeah, and then there's highlights so that you can easily identify when the people that are actually answering the questions answer. So it's a lot easier to kind of get in there, see the questions, see what the answers are, and kind of filter out some of the additional discussion. It's still there if you want to dig into it. But I thought that was pretty cool as well.
A little inside baseball. Right as the AMA was starting, it started at 12:30 Pacific, but by 12:40, I kept refreshing. Of course, in the car ride, refreshing. I'm like, oh shoot, they're not answering any questions, and then I realized that they were answering questions, but the reason it wasn't showing up in the answered questions is because I made Adult Swim Official the co-host, and so when you make somebody a co-host, they can answer questions, and it'll show up as them. It'll highlight as them.
Yeah.
And then I was scrolling down, and I realized, oh, they changed the name. They made a different name, a different Reddit username. That's where they've been answering the questions. And so, 10 minutes into it, I'm panicking, oh, okay, there it is. Okay, add them as a co-host. Cool. Now it's showing up as answered. But yeah, there are so many baked in tools now that make it easier to do AMAs. Even scheduling the post ahead of time. I talk about I put the post on Tuesday. This was on a Thursday, and be like, here you go. This will start at 12:30 Pacific on Thursday. Put your questions in there early. And ask anything. Here we go. And shout out to one of our moderators who did the copy for that post. Because they're like, oh, I'll help out if you want. I'm like, sure, tell me what you want to say, and we'll put it out there. So
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the actual AMA, because I first of all, they answered a lot of questions in that hour. Shout out to all the Redditors who put the questions in the first place. And shout out to Martyr and Levy, who really they answered a lot. Some kind of repeats, but for the most part, kind of earnest and straightforward answers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've gone and picked through some of the questions. Definitely, if you want to hear all of the questions and answers, go out to the subreddit for yourself, and you can check out all of these. But starting off with from user Magic Man Boobs, they write, in season 8 there were no post-episode discussion videos about the making of the episodes. Was this a creative decision or just something there wasn't time for? And then the answer to this really kind of it wasn't specific to like
Martyr
exactly.
Elite.
Yeah, but it talked about how they believe there is actually a larger documentary that is kind of taking place all about season 8, and that is supposed to be coming out soon. So we didn't get any specifics on release dates or anything like that. But I was really excited to hear that we might see a little bit more of like a behind the scenes type special about how Rick and Morty gets made. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and like really far down, like one of the first questions that was asked was similarly about like post episode discussions. And it was one of the two of them that said that they know that there was filming with Albert Lundy and Dan Harmon, so there is something that's kind of like larger coming out. And whether it's a documentary, like a mini documentary, or just maybe like a 5-minute thing, to be seen. But that'll be cool to see, right? That's something.
No, yeah, it's content. It's something we can cover on the podcast.
Yeah, because usually like after the episode last season, right? After every episode, then we'd go on to Adult Swim. We'd see like, oh, behind the episode. So yeah, no, that's definitely something we're missing out on. Didn't realize that we're missing out on until those questions were asked.
Yeah. Next up, from non-mysterious person. I know this won't happen, but could Retcon bring back Diane if he wanted to? What are the limits of his powers? For those who, it's been a minute, this is Retcon was a character. Was this a Vindicators episode?
Mm-mm.
No.
It was one of those meta episodes where like all the superheroes were like different storytelling tropes.
Yes, that's right. Was it the sequel to the Story Train one? I don't know. I don't remember. I should have looked it up. But Retcon was a character who could say anything and it basically became true. He could quote unquote retcon any of the canon of the episodes. And I thought this was an interesting answer from Martyr. He is an Omega level mutant, but not one Harmon is probably keen on revisiting. We love the Story Train episodes, but it's tricky dealing with meta. I agree. Yeah. And I think that's a good example of, like you were saying, the earnest answers that they're not beating around the bush with certain things. They're like, you know what, that's probably just not something we're interested in revisiting. That's not something we would look at doing. It's a neat idea, but like that would complicate the show more than be a gratifying story sequence. So yeah, we're gonna not do that again.
And this isn't the only question that was asked about Diane, and whether or not we would see Diane again, if there's any way to reverse it. And I think it was Martyr who responded back with, she was wiped out. Rick Prime wiped her out with the Omega device, and it's all done, right? Which is again going back to that honesty of being like, it's a new chapter. It's a new chapter. I don't think there's any. I don't know if we captured any of these in the show notes, but that's one of the questions that was asked too about, like, continuing on over the years, new episodes and stuff like that. And they responded being like, we kind of view it as chapters, right? There's kind of beginnings and ends of arcs a little bit.
Yeah.
And so the show might keep going on forever and ever, so long as they're like chapters that are like being told. you know, definitive beginning and ends to chapters, maybe not the end of the show. So
Yeah, which kind of also is similar to this question from Virtual Signature 789. I love Reddit usernames, by the way. Their question was that they found the decision to end Rick Prime's storyline midway through season 7 really compelling and gutsy from a storytelling perspective. Other shows would have milked that cow until udders were dry as the Sahara. Their quote, their parentheses, not mine. Would you tell us a little about the behind the scenes on how that decision came to be and what the conversations were around it? Martyr goes on to answer, we had a lot of back and forth on this one and ultimately felt like it not only provided the best surprise, but also teed up Evil Morty as the true bona fide villain of the show. A lot of very interesting comments after Martyr's response from people being like, ooh, Evil Morty, bona fide villain. Ooh, Evil Morty. Evil, like, people just love Evil Morty. They talk about him all the time. But yeah, kind of solidifying Evil Morty as the big bad on the show is an interesting thing as well, and something that I'm definitely cool with. And does that mean he's coming back? Not necessarily, but it does kind of show that he is even superior to Rick Prime, who had there was a little bit of like back and forth of like who is the bigger bad in the show.
Yeah. It's kind of, if you think about it, Rick being this version of nihilism for so long, right? And Rick Prime being maybe even an even more extreme version of that. And then you see Evil Morty, who is like he has principles, he has things he cares about, and he's like, I don't want to deal with any of this type of stuff. It's interesting to me that a world of not giving a shit is subordinate to a world where you're focused and you have determination and you have actual goals that you want to accomplish. And so like I that's kind of what I see Evil Morty compared to Rick Prime as.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. Any of these questions stand out to you that that you
yeah. So Craig Opie says aloha. I'm a huge. I wonder if they're from Hawaii.
Shaka, bro.
Shaka, bra. Aloha. I'm a huge fan. The Fear Hole episode and other episodes where the characters question their place in reality and time really resonated with me. What inspired you to explore that theme? And can we expect any episodes next season that similarly blur the lines between original dimensions and simulations, the kind that leave viewers wondering whether they're in the real world or an artificial one? Martyr went ahead and said they've got a really cool one in season 9 that deals with false reality in a totally different, cool way.
That's groundbreaking news. Like that is the biggest spoiler for season 9 that I think we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's so awesome, right? Like that, because they continuously, I don't know how they do that, right? They continuously come up with new ways to be like, okay, simulation, no. There's a what, you have a matrix, no. They full hearts, full charge. They keep changing things up to to explore these different types of things. And how is it a really cool way that they're a totally different, new, cool way?
One thing I really have always loved about Rick and Morty is the way that they pull ideas from really popular sci-fi movies and shows and things like that. So you talk about, the full hearts, full charge, like that is a false reality, but in the context of more of like the Matrix, which we haven't really seen explored until that episode came out. There are so many movies and science fiction like ideas out there where it is a false reality or it is an artificial reality or things like that. The number of those that they can pull from to kind of create and then kind of turn on its head and create a comedic version of it or something like that. Love to see, Tron is coming out. There's a new Tron movie coming out. Like,
Yeah.
we've gone into some video games. We've done some stuff like that. But like,
Tron Areola.
yeah, I think that's what it's called. Pretty sure.
Along those lines, Travis, talking about the different sci-fi ways of telling stories. One of the questions in here is talking about like the writer's room and how many different perspectives they have in the writer's room, and that's really something that is so cool, is the collaboration, right? That the writers comes in, all these different people. Like, I've not read the Wheel of Time series, but I know that people have, and they know all of that story. People who are like, the question was like talking about like the Phantom Toll Booth, which was a story I read in like 5th grade. But like, everybody in that writer's room is bringing these ideas and their perspective, and somebody might have something that no one's thought of and be like, that's a good idea. How can we use that for this show?
Yeah.
And that's what keeping a writer's room fresh is all about. So
yeah,
Um,
awesome.
But speaking of writers' room type of stuff, I think this kind of question goes along the lines of that, which is from Derry Dukes. What would you say to fans who fear that after season 8, the show is losing its edge that gave it so much identity? And Martyr
First
responds,
off, I want to know who's saying it. Line up. Let's have a chat. But anyway,
I'll punch you in the gut. So Martyr says, I would say season 9 will convince everyone we've got a full tank of gas left in us. And this
big
this
words, Martyr. You better stick to it.
Big words, and that's not the only time in this whole AMA they've said something like that. Like, multiple times, multiple questions, basically saying season 9, season 10 is really, really amazing. And Levy had mentioned that they're already, I think they're done writing season 11.
Season 9's in post. Season 10 is already in production, and season 11 is writing or done writing, I think. So yeah, like, they're like, anyone that's worried that Rick and Morty is going anywhere, they are well ahead of us. They have figured out the process. No more they're drawing it, like we can expect a regular flow of Rick and Morty for the foreseeable future.
And I think based on one of their answers, they're predicting that they'll have more seasons beyond 12 and 13 and 14.
100 years, Rick and Morty. www. Here's one that speaks to us. In fact, I'm not 100% convinced that Trashman69 is not one of Brandon's alt throwaway accounts. I could just see you moderating the AMA while also asking the questions you actually wanted to have answered using a separate computer. But this question asks, when are we getting another interdimensional cable? Which obviously we would love to see. Levy says, I am not at liberty to say, but there could be some interdimensional cable in the near future. Way to just get our hopes up.
I know. Martyr answered a similar question, and he said, I'm not sure, but I really want to do one, essentially. Pardon the incorrect quote. But so those two answers kind of conflict with each other to me a little bit. Levy saying the near future. What is the near future for Levy? And then Martyr saying, yeah, he wants to work on one. Are we getting some misinformation here, Travis?
I don't know. Maybe they just have different ways of trying to conceal the truth. So
okay.
Yeah.
Fair. All right.
All right. Last one from the show notes. What do we got?
Chad Jones 72. With Rick and Morty approaching later seasons, is there any worry about Flanderization and the overall plot of the show? Flanderization, referring to Simpsons, Ned Flanders, kind of like how Ned Flanders was this character at the start of the show, and then he kind of changes, and but you just kind of like soft.
Well, and he was kind of like a side character, right? And then all of a sudden he became like this character that they'd make whole episodes about, right? Like that. Yeah.
And so the answer is no. The episode ideas are still really flowing.
All
and Rick,
caps.
really flowing, and Rick still has plenty of mean left in him. Scott Marder. Yeah. The Flannerization where like we've noticed this in season 8, Rick becoming a little bit softer, more emotionally available or receptive anyway. It seems like there's some concern that, oh, Rick's becoming too soft now. And so this is a nice little side confirmation that no, Rick has gone through so much stuff in his life. He's still an asshole. He still has this, he's still damaged, right? You can't just like drop your trauma. You can't just drop the things that built you to who you are without still kind of like reverting back to some of those things sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, like we shouldn't expect Rick to all of a sudden be like, all right, guys, I baked some cookies, made some hot cocoa. Let's just hang out and talk about the Dodgers game. They beat Cincinnati 8-0 last night. Crazy, right?
Yeah. All right. Moving into they answered so many questions. And again, a huge thank you to both Martyr and Levy for the amount of questions. Highly recommend you going out there, checking out all of them. But I wanted to touch on, just as telling with the questions you answer, the questions you elect not to answer are also sometimes, they tell their own story, right? The most popular question that did not get answered is it true that Justin Roiland had no creative input after season 3? No answer on that. I think huge props to them for not dealing with that, honestly, in a Reddit AMA, and not dragging anybody name through the mud for better or worse. Like, yeah, way to be mature about that. And let the truth be what the truth is. But I love this question from, and I recognize the username first. Username The Sixler. It says, "Can I have a job? It's me, Spencer." And for those of you that are just Rick and Morty fans and are not fans in the greater Harmon lore, so Dan Harmon used to have a podcast that he performed live on stage called Harmontown. At one point in a very early episode of this, Dan wanted to like play D&D. He wanted to try out D&D, and there was this guy in the audience who stood up and was like, "Hey, I'm a dungeon master. Like, I could play D&D with you. I could like teach you how to play." That guy's name was Spencer. Spencer became a regular part of Harmontown over the years. He was they regularly played D&D on Harmontown, and Spencer was their dungeon master. He's a really unique dude. He's hilarious. But yeah, like he doesn't work for Rick and Morty. Like he went on. I think he continues to do a podcast with what's the other guy's name?
Dang it, yeah, mess from Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Yeah. Anyway, they do another podcast. The question, "Can I have a job? It's me, Spencer." Someone responds, "Spencer, I have zero doubt that you would crush any job they offered you." And then somebody else said, "As the show's dungeon master?" ? Jeff Davis. Thank you.
Yeah.
But then Spencer says, ideally, yes. I've show ran animation before, and I am a writer. I've been an assistant and seen all sorts of production. I'm sure I could copy scripts or whatever's needed, assistant, some sort of coordinator, janitor, etc. Yeah, I mean, there was a period, I think they did 2 seasons, where they actually ran a Harmontown D&D campaign and then animated the episodes.
Yeah, Harmon Quest.
Harmon Quest is what it was called. So, yeah, huge shout out to the Sixler, aka Spencer, for hopping into the AMA, and unfortunately, he didn't get a job via Reddit, but maybe they can reach out in some other form. Like, I mean, he hung out with Dan all the time. Like, is that really how he needs to stay in contact? I don't know.
Levy did mention, because people asked Levy about doing Harmontown, if there's any plans on doing any Harmontown, like, and he said, like, I miss doing it, but there's no talks about doing that.
Yeah.
Some other questions that were answered that, like, I remembered, a couple of cool ones, a couple, so ones, but I don't know if you saw this, Travis, but the Simpsons movie sequel is coming out in 2027.
That's right. Yet another original piece of cinematic, filmmaking from the greater Disney Corporation. So
yes,
yeah.
I saw the Simpsons movie 3 times in theaters. Just to give you.
I think I've seen it once.
Yeah, I'm a Simpsons.
I know you're a Simpsons simp.
So, simp. Sins. So one of the questions was, hey, is there going to be a Rick and Morty movie? It's one of those things where they'd like to do it eventually, but it's not an active thing that they're working on. Something that takes us back to like episode 13, 14, 15, maybe 5 of this podcast. People asked, hey, will there ever be a Rick and Morty video game that is not just strictly VR? And they both responded. Levy was like, yeah, we've talked about it, but we really want to make sure that it captures the essence of Rick and Morty. And then Martyr says, yes, please, or something similar. So, yeah, hey, we'd love to talk about video games with you guys. Refer back to our Prime episode way back when we started in 2020 or 2017. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you think the show will get renewed for season 13 and beyond? Martyr's response is, the lease on my Mazda Miata certainly hopes so.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Now let's talk about questions that had nothing to do with Scott Martyr and Steve Levy. There's only one of them that was answered by the original poster, Barnyard Cruise, and that is at the very, very, very bottom. When Barnyard Cruise said, hey, here's the proof is in the pudding, and it linked to X, Twitter, showing the picture of Scott Martyr and Steve Levy with Pickle Rick and saying, AMA. The answer, so that was a post. Then the automod for the subreddit said, you cannot post links in this. And so it fucking, the automod auto-moderated me. And so I had to go back in there and then approve my own message for my post. And then somebody responded, LOL. So anyway.
Yeah, I see that one. I see that one on there.
That's
good. That's good.
All right.
All right. I mean, the scrolls go on for smiles and smiles. There's a ton of great stuff in here. We've hit on a lot of it, but it's definitely, if you are a fan of this show and a fan of what's to come, a little bit of behind the scenes about what goes into making the show, and even just some questions about the lore and, greater context for some of your favorite characters. A lot of things are covered in this subreddit AMA. Highly recommend you go check it out. Links will be posted. But yeah. Huh?
Links will be posted. If you go to Reddit and you go to the Rick and Morty subreddit, it's posted right there on the top. It's in the announcement. So even if you don't go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and click links, it'll be there on Reddit if you're a follower of the Rick and Morty subreddit.
It's hard to miss. And I mean, there's like custom banners that people probably emailed back and forth numerous times about. So,
Brandon, take me off the CC. My inbox is cluttered to hell.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. All right. Brandon, I mean, we did short out a lot of usernames and things like that, but before we get out of here, are there any other listener suggestions or short outs that you have that you want to, I don't know, share with Unity?
I don't have any specific ones, but here's what I'll say. Shout out to all of the people on the subreddit, all of the Rick and Morty fans that are out there, that are positive, that are excited about new Rick and Morty content, that are sincerely interested in seeing where this show goes next. A negative shout out to the Facebook people on the Rick and Morty. So Adult Swim, they posted the Rick and Morty thing, like, oh, AMA, oh, look at, oh, this is so great, right? Twitter was cool. Instagram was cool. I went to the Facebook post and it's like it's a like dumpster fire of negativity. And I was like, ooh, yeah, you know what? Adult Swim, don't go there anymore. That's toxic as shit. So negative shout out to them. Positive shout out to everybody out there that is so great. The fact that Adult Swim reached out to us to do this AMA with Scott Martyr and Steve Levy, and that they're willing to do it again, that they had such a positive experience.
Yeah,
is so great that we can build that relationship and keep this connectivity going between the creator and the folks who consume that media.
Yeah, 100%. Huge thanks again to Adult Swim for just letting us be a part of it, and to all of the moderators, yourself included, Brandon, but mostly the other ones, that keep that site running and just create a really great place for people to discuss the show and explore theories and all those sorts of things. So I think that is gonna do it for this episode.
Good.
When will we be back? Who knows?
Next fall, according to Martyr and Levy.
Yeah. But yeah, if you missed any of season 8, go check it out again on HBO Max, where you can. It's all now streaming. I saw Rick and Morty as an option to watch on Disney Plus the other day, and that really threw me off because like Hulu goes into Disney Plus, and then like Hulu, like I don't know, it was weird. Rick and Morty was on my Disney Plus. But yeah, go watch Rick and Morty. Let us know what you think. If you had favorite questions, maybe if your question wasn't answered on the AMA, let us know. Shoot us an email. Let us know what your questions were, or leave us a comment on the YouTube video about anything Rick and Morty related. We'd love to do our own AMA. Ask us anything, and maybe we'll come back with an episode as well. So until then, thank you so much for listening. And I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon. And just by the way, today is October 1st, which means it's Halloween month, which means go to check out your Treehouse of Horror episodes from The Simpsons. If you go to Disney Plus, you mentioned it, Travis.
You can see it. There's animated pants on there.
There's a channel on Disney Plus dedicated to Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors that you can just skip all the other frivolous Simpsons shit and just go straight to the horror. Horror. Okay.
Horror.
That's all I've got now. Okay. I'm Brandon. You're Travis. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. They missed us so much. They're so glad to have this episode. Look at them. Coming to you live. Oh, wait, no. that's the end of the show.